Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos. She's Diana Lee, my good friend with Troy Bank and Trust Company. Remember, during this whole conversation, Troy Bank and Trust Company is the only bank you'll ever need. And of course, now with 15...
Almost 15.
Almost
14.5.
And you got another one coming.
We do. We do.
And of course, you know, when Michael comes on, I'm going to get him to name them. He's good at naming them.
Okay.
But of course, Diana's here with. She's always here with a lot of great civic duties, and one of those civic duties is she works with the outstanding
Troy Arts Council.
Troy Arts Council, and we've got a big event coming up in Troy that I think a lot of you will enjoy, and of course we're going to talk about some other things too. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You don't have three to look at you anymore.
I don't, no.
One of those is married, isn't he?
He is, yes, and they're in their own house, and my daughter is in her own house. We've only got one left at home, and yes, life is good.
But you miss them though, don't you?
I do.
You know, Diana, how many years ago?
23.
23 years ago, Diana and Danny Lee had triplets. The only, really one of the very rare triplets in Troy.
There was one more set that was about 14 months older than ours. But yeah, but they moved not too long ago, so. And then we've got the Dunn triplets.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the Adair triplets.
Oh, okay. So since then we've had quite a few more. But of course, you know, it's always fun to talk about some of the things. You know, of course, Danny and I are very good friends, and I used to joke with him about which triplet did you have today? y'all would decide before you went to bed who you had the next day. Is that right?
Pretty much. Mostly we played zone defense.
Yeah.
We were outnumbered. We couldn't play man to man, so we just had to play zone defense.
That's right. Of course, Diana with Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need, and of course, my good friend Jeff Kervin and Diana, you've been with the bank now how long?
24 and a half years.
Oh boy, you really have been.
I have been there a long time.
And of course, it's a great bank to work for. I know.
It is, and we're growing all the time, and but we're still a family.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, 4 locations right here in Troy now, isn't it? Is it 4?
It's 4 in Troy and 7 in Pike County.
So, boy, really grown and growing every day. Tell us what the Troy Arts Council's got on.
Yeah, we've got a lot of events coming up, and last year we had to cancel everything, and just because that was the safest thing to do. And because we canceled everything last year, all of our events this year are going to be absolutely free to the public. You don't have to have a ticket. You just come and enjoy.
Oh, man, isn't that something?
It's great.
You mean I can see the Beach Boys for nothing?
You can see the tribute band for the Beach Boys. Sail On is our next production that's coming up. It's going to be on Monday, October the 4th at Claudia Crosby.
That's next Monday.
Next Monday. Can you believe it's October
that's
the
right.
4th,
that's right.
next Monday? And that's going to be at 7 o'clock. So we want everybody to come out, put on your Hawaiian shirt, enjoy the show.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Mike Love, I reckon his name was Mike. He was the lead singer for a long time. If they got a good lead singer, remind you of him?
I'm sure that they do. Several years ago, they had the Eagles tribute band.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
and they
wonderful.
were phenomenal. And so I'm expecting this to be the same caliber.
You know, the Four Seasons came out with a group, and they've got groups, 3 or 4 groups across the country, and I'm always looking forward to them. Even when I go to New York, that's one place I want to go see the
Jersey Boys.
And the Jersey Boys, but the Beach Boys got a group just like their rival. I would think that they were real rivals.
Yeah, they're spot on, and I think it's going to be a really good show. I think everybody's going to enjoy it that comes out and takes advantage.
So if you want one of those up close seats now, down there where all the girls yell, you know, give it the GTO. That's the place to be, and don't even have to worry about a ticket.
Don't worry about a ticket. Don't worry about
All right, now they are some reserved seats. Is that right?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, okay. Okay, so just first come, first serve, which will be. I would think up front would be a good place for them.
I think so. I don't know. I'm getting a little old, so I might go back just a little bit further.
Now, this was about your time, wasn't it?
Some of the
Four
stuff,
Seasons were a little bit older, and then of course then the Beach Boys, and then there was a couple of other groups, but those were the two most popular, I think.
Yeah, they were very popular, but we're expecting a good turnout, and I think it's going to be a fun night.
Oh yeah, I think so too, and of course that's this Monday night at the Claudia Crosby, and Claudia Crosby is a perfect place. A few years back they cut down a little bit on the seating, but they made a wider seat and a more comfortable atmosphere. And it's just a perfect place for something like this.
Very nice.
And you'll really, if you love the old music like I do, you'll be there. I know I'll be there. Monday night is a good night for it to me. I don't watch pro football that much anymore.
You can DVR it, get back to it.
Yeah, exactly. I need to learn how to, Danny teaches me everything I need that I know. I got to be able to get, if he's out there, I got to be able to get ESPN Plus,
Yeah,
but he is a guru, doesn't he? People call him up all the time. Well, Danny, will you come look at look? Some people can do it and some people can't, can they?
I always tell people we actually watched Hurricane Ivan live when it came in. So, yeah.
Oh, man. Of course, if you reckon, I wonder if Danny's mama is watching. It makes the best Italian cream cake in the world. I mean, I'm telling you the truth, aren't I? Of course, you grew up around it the whole time, and she's a sweet, sweet lady. Go ahead. I want one right now, Miss Lee. I want one for Christmas and Thanksgiving and Christmas. Go ahead and make sure I get one for those two.
Do I need to put this
Yeah,
on?
well, we've been picking it up from this mic right here, but of course we're on the air, of course, on Facebook and on across the country, across the United States, and a lot of people watch us from a long ways off. I know. My brother lives in Charleston, and he's been a little bit under the weather, but he still watches us on TC2, and we're glad that he does. Tell us some of the things that, of course, we got this event coming up, and we got, what are some other events that that your group's got?
Well, on Sunday, October the 10th, we'll have Chanticleer. And they're an a cappella group, and they will be at St. Martin's of Tours Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great, won't it?
Yes, it will, and that's going to be at 7 o'clock as well. And then following them, November the 9th, we have the Vintage Vixens, and then they'll be back at Claudia Crosby. And then the one that everybody always gets excited about is Saturday, December the 11th, is Sheila Jackson and Friends.
It gets better and better.
Yeah.
Sheila, look for any singer across the world, and I say across the world, that has that kind of voice. I mean, God gave her that voice,
I was at the Chancellor's golf tournament the other day, and she sang God Bless America before everybody teed off, and I thought, wow.
There was a football game, was it a football game the other night where she sang God Bless America, and
I think it was at the military.
Yeah, that military. The military halftime show. And let me tell you, those folks forgot about what the coach was telling them. All they wanted to hear, and on both sides now, they were focused on her rendition of America. Let's go to see who's coming in right now. You're on Today in L.A. You're meeting with me and Diana Lee this morning, Mike.
Hey, morning. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Of course, you've known Diana Lee for many years, and of course she's watched you grow up too. I reckon at the same time. But y'all came around about the same time.
Yeah, well, I think I'm probably a little older than that.
Not much.
I was born in 1976 in Baptist Hospital in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have been your babysitter. Yeah.
Well, and let me tell you this, this poor old guy was sitting sitting back at about 7:30 at night, and I've been there all day, and it was rainy, and wasn't hardly anybody there. When my first child was born, there was a lot of people there, just sitting in the waiting room. But in a minute, a lady pushed out some kind of buggy and says, "Mr. Amos, I got something I want to show you." Well, I said, "Fine." So I looked in there and I saw two babies, one there and one there. And then I backed up and I said, "I wonder which baby is mine." And she said, "You better look again." And I said, she said, "They're both yours." So I had twins. Wow. And didn't have anybody in the room to celebrate with but me. I was the only one there to celebrate. But thank goodness they finally got around to working this thing out, because they delivered the first child. Michael came out first. And then about 11 minutes later, Camille came out.
Wow, that was pretty fast.
And nobody, and listen, these were all these doctors at Montgomery's biggest hospital in Montgomery, and nobody had figured even twins.
Oh, wow.
So that was a surprise to everybody.
Yeah.
So when I called my mother-in-law, Beulah Crow, and told her, I thought she was, I just heard just silence for a little while. I said, hey. And then she finally said something. But, those things happen. What did they say when those triplets came?
Well, we pretty much knew. I knew at 5 weeks I was pregnant, and then I knew at 8 weeks that it was going to be triplets.
Oh, gosh. How did that make you feel?
Oh, I was fine. Danny was a little shaken up.
Let me ask you this, and I've always wanted to ask Danny this. What were the percentages of that happening?
They told me that when they put me on the injectables, that they were going to give me a 17% chance for twins, and they weren't going to calculate any higher than that, because they said with my history, we'd be lucky if we got one.
Isn't that amazing?
So I said, watch this.
Well, had you had problems having children at the time? Wasn't that a God-given thing, wasn't it?
It was, it was
amazing. I know you, and I've known you a long time, and Danny too. You know what? God puts these children with the right parents, because nobody was more organized as a parent as you were.
We didn't have a choice. We had to be
organized. You were organized. Yeah. And I hate to get off this subject because it's a good one. But what was the things that you did that most people could not believe that you went through?
Well, in the beginning, we changed about 33 diapers a day.
33 diapers a day they had to change.
We made about 27 bottles a day.
You did 27 bottles a day.
And we slept in shifts for about 3 months. Yeah, just
it's
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But the community really helped us out. We had a lot of help.
Now, you're right, but did you use Pampers, what we call Pampers?
Well, I had 2 that wore Pampers and 1 that wore Huggies.
Yeah.
That's what fit them best.
Was one of the children more outstanding than the others as far as you being able to handle them?
There was one that was more vocal. Max was very vocal his first 3 months of life. Yeah.
So he was crying a lot, or what?
He just wasn't happy those first 3 months. He calmed down after that.
Yeah.
He's pretty laid back now.
Oh man, well it's over with now. But I tell her every time I see her, she needs to write a book, because and of course you did have the perfect husband though.
I did.
Hey, listen, you had a husband that you could tell to do whatever you wanted to tell to do.
We worked very well as a team. We sure did.
Oh man. Okay, we're talking about now. There's some other topics going on too.
Troy journalist made history last night. Her name's Melanie Newman. She's the second season as a radio television announcer for the Baltimore Orioles. She was live on ESPN calling the Dodgers-San Diego Padres game with Jessica Mendoza, the former All-American softball player who's been doing work on ESPN for years. The two will form ESPN's first all-female announcing team for baseball broadcast. She's a 2013 graduate of Troy University.
Oh, man.
And she's from Woodstock, Georgia.
That's great exposure,
That's
isn't it?
awesome,
That's great
yes.
for Troy, out of their journalism department.
She used to do it when she was in the journalism department. I remember she used to do sideline reporting during games when she was at Troy. That's kind of where she got her start.
Yeah.
But she was with the Mobile Bay Bears Southern League team for 2 years. She's only 30 years old. She's been with all kinds of different other minor league teams, and now she's been with the Baltimore Orioles the last couple of years. Pretty amazing how her career has made it all the way to ESPN.
Boy, you talk about that Jack Hawkins wanting to get on something, and you know he always loves to find these little niches, and this is one. Boy, that's great news. It really is. And how did they do? They do pretty good.
I got to listen to a little of it last night. I don't stay up too late to watch all those late games. The Braves did win, so now they've won 2 in a row against Philly, and their magic number is 1. So,
all right, so the big games tonight, or what? The big games tonight?
Well, no. I mean, they've got like 4 more games to play. So
regular season.
One more game, and they clinch the East.
Oh man, that's wonderful. You know, and I know you've been around ball all your life, but you know, Danny's a big sportsman himself and a very knowledgeable one. I know he's excited about the Braves, isn't he?
He is. He's
Y'all all watch the Braves, did you?
We watch the Braves. Yes, we do.
Oh gosh, so a lot of folks out there there are a lot of ball fans out there that people don't realize, you know, that they stay at home and they watch those Braves, and you know, and somebody calls them and says, "Let's go eat out," or "Y'all want to go shopping," or whatever, and then they find out, I've got to watch the Braves. Is that the way it is in your house?
Well, he can, you know, he'll keep it on the phone, and he'll keep up with them on the phone. But, yeah.
Something Danny Lee does, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know if many people in the country can do this. Your husband knows every mascot for every team in the world. Well, well, not in the world, but in the nation, in the United States. If I ask him, who is what was the chef? I mean, the nickname for the oh gosh, now I can't even remember one. The Ducks of Delaware. What is their deal? And he says he could tell you.
Oh yeah, he can do Division I, Division 1A, Division II, and most Division IIIs.
Every college in the country, he can tell you their nickname, and that is really something. Of course, some other things that are going on that you wanted to bring out this morning. Banking is trying to make a serious change that we don't want. Is that right?
Well, it's not banking. These are your legislators, your senators, and your representatives.
It's legislators doing that.
This is in Washington, yes. They are trying to push through a bill that also includes a caveat that basically, in order to fund a lot of the things that they're doing, they're going to need to find more tax money. Yeah. So they want to put this addendum into this piece of legislation that states that if you have an account, checking, savings, whatever, personal or business, that has $600 or more in it, that every transaction into that account and every transaction coming out of that account has got to be tracked by your bank and sent to the IRS. Oh, boy. So, I mean, you make a $5 Happy Meal purchase at McDonald's, that's got to be tracked if you have a balance of $600 or more in your account. God, I mean, it's going to be a nightmare for us as a bank. Yeah. It's going to cost, we can't even calculate what it's going to cost in order to get our software up to date to handle something like that, and it's an invasion of privacy to the citizens. That's what gets me.
You know, I said before we got on the air that you know, what options do we have? What options do we have?
Well, we're trying to get everyone to contact their senators, which is Senator Shelby. I know he's not running again, but he's in office right now.
Now, at that time, if he was running, he could probably put a stop to it. You know, he was that strong, wasn't he?
And he still is. So
he's still in there?
We still want him to know how we feel. Senator Tuberville, and also Barry Moore, who is in this area, is our representative. I know you go out to a lot of different areas, they would need to contact their representative, but you can call us at the bank and we can give you some websites to go to that have sample emails, sample letters, things like that, that you basically just fill it out online and send it. But they've heard from almost 500,000 people already that do not want this. So, but we need to get those numbers up.
And another thing, the physical part of it, you would have to hire a lot more people, wouldn't you?
Yes, we'd have to hire a lot more people, and of course that cost is going to be transferred to the consumer. Because that's not something that we can just shoulder and go on. And what is so crazy is that we already have safeguards in place that report large transactions going into and out of accounts. So I don't know, we can't understand exactly why they want to put that threshold at $600.
Oh man. So if it was a higher threshold, would it make a like say $2,000, would it make a difference? Not
a lot. We would still have to have a lot more equipment. We'd have to have a lot more software, and we'd have to have people to run it.
So small banks are really going to have problems with it.
Your small community banks are really going to suffer.
But now, and right now, we need to go ahead and call our representative?
Absolutely.
And say, hey, we're totally against it.
In fact, when at Military Appreciation Day, I got Barry Moore right as he was coming off the field, and I said, Representative Moore, I need to talk to you for a moment. Jeff Curvin said, "You did what?" but yeah, I talked to him, and he said, that's something that none of us want.
Exactly. Well, keep this right here, and let's keep America strong, and let's keep it in a situation that we can go to our representative and say, "Hey, no to this."
Barry Moore came on your show one time, Doug.
Oh yeah, he's been on here, And he's not a bad guy. I think he'd be fine.
I see Tommy Somerville a lot down here at restaurants in Drayton, so maybe I can just talk to him down here.
Oh, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah. Tommy Tuberville is going to become one of the more effective senators. I mean, he found his niche. I think. A lot of this remains to be seen, though, and of course, again, strong legislation can stop it. You think?
I think that if enough voices get heard, that the people who are voting on it will have a change.
Do you know when that vote will be?
I am not sure when that vote's coming up. That's when we're.
Well, we really got to get on it, don't we? Because this is a big thing. Just little Danny's account that would come into effect almost, wouldn't it? Hopefully not.
Troy Bank and Trust is always growing. Y'all have any more plans for expansion? Any more locations y'all plan on getting into?
I don't know, Mike. Do you know how many locations we got now? Name them. Can you do that?
I can't name them, but I know there's like 12 or 13 in there.
I thought you could name
14.
them, Mike. I mean, I've been teaching you to name them all these days. Name them, Mike.
There's one in Auburn.
Right.
One in Enterprise.
Yes.
Right.
Ozark.
Nope.
No, they don't have one. Ozark's got a lot of banks, but they don't have our bank.
New Brockton, Goshen, Brundage.
2 in Brundage.
Montgomery.
We have an LPO and a DPO in Montgomery. So that'll become a branch.
So you'll have a branch in Montgomery before long. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. I think
Dothan, you didn't
2
name.
in Dothan.
2 in Dothan now. And then Arrington's got a branch. Boy, they also got a good football team. That is a good school system down there. I went to a football game down there. Yeah, Mike.
So, I mean, would y'all ever expand as far as down into Florida, or are we always stay in Alabama?
Ooh, Mike, you're asking me things that I can't talk about.
So, keep your eyes and ears open.
We're always looking for places to branch out, because the way we're structured.
I was going to say there's not a whole lot of banks down here where I live.
Yeah.
For us.
The way that we are structured, that we don't have an option to be bought out. We literally cannot be bought because of the way that we're set up. And I believe that we are the only bank in the entire United States that's set up that way.
Yeah.
And so either we grow or we die, and we're not about to die.
Isn't that amazing? To grow. It's amazing. It really is. Troy Bank and Trust Company is a billion-dollar bank. A lot of people don't realize that.
It is. We are over $1 billion now.
And somebody told me there are not but about 5 or 6 billion-dollar banks in the state of Alabama. Is that right?
That I don't
know.
We're
one of. I think it was something like 8.
Independent banks?
Yeah, independent.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
$1 billion bank. Yeah. So you know when you bank with Troy Bank and Trust Company that you're dealing with a big bank that can handle all your needs. Is that right? Is
the
that
only
right?
bank you'll ever need.
Well, let me just say this. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say something on this show that might not happen to you, but it happened to me. Have you ever had any work done with a dermatologist?
You're gonna bring up this?
I'm gonna bring up this. I told him I'd bring it up, and I'm gonna bring it up. I went and had some work done on my ear. You know, that's one of the worst parts of getting too much sun. And a lot of people over the years are getting are having to get surgery done on their ears and so forth. Well, I was there. Skin cancer, yeah. So I was in there to have that work done yesterday, and I go in and he starts working on me, and so he leaves the facility. His nurses leave to go to another patient or go to lunch. I don't know what happened. They left me there for over an hour, all flat on a table over an hour, and I started shaking. And I started shaking, and I was getting cold, and I was getting cold like I've never been cold before. I was shaking like a leaf. Now, you know, I have Parkinson's to begin with, and I was shaking like a leaf, and nobody would come. Then finally I started hollering. Nobody would come. It was like that was in a soundproof. It was like that room was soundproof. I waited and waited, and I shook, and I shook, and I shook. They brought me one little small thin blanket or whatever you call it. It's a little thin blanket, and I'm still shaking, and I'm still shaking. I shook like I never shook before in my life. I was cold like I've never been cold before. I've told you about my cold feet. You know, have you ever heard of cold feet? Well, cold feet plus. But I've never been so cold in my life, and I was like that for over an hour before they came in. Before they came in to even to see if I was still alive.
You're going to have to wear layers when you go to doctor's offices.
Well, that's where it is, and then you're right. Are you going to be caught like this? He told me They told me they'd be back in 15 minutes, and I'm not mentioning any names or anything, but they told me they'd be back in 15 minutes. It was over an hour. And this was right during the lunch hour, sort of. So I don't know if they went to lunch or what. Wow. But boy, they left poor old Mike Amos, who never been so cold in his life. I know that. But I let him have it. I mean, I told him, I said, hey, did you want me to freeze to death? I mean, I said, do you literally want me to freeze to death? And you know, they don't.
Your son is total opposite. I sleep with 2 fans on top of me every night. I want it cold as possible. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying at night. Well, I wear sneakers that. Hey, I have to wear special shoes at night because of my cold feet.
Wow.
Have you ever had one of the twins with cold feet? Or triplets?
Not really.
I just told him. I told those folks.
I think what it's called is a sign you're getting old. Well,
no. They finally brought some. When they did find out that they had a patient in that room, I was wondering if they had forgotten me. That they did bring a few more blankets, but that didn't do it real good. I was still cold. And finally, that whatever was blowing down from the ceiling, finally it stopped. So maybe they said, "Oh, we might have kept that air conditioner running too long." So I think they got the message. I promise you, and they got it from me. I hope they don't do it to any other patients. That be careful. Be careful before they leave the room. Tell them, "Hey, I want extra blankets, or I want you to check on me periodically to make sure I'm still alive and still not. I tell you what, a lot of meat people would have loved that room to hang their meat. But I wanted that to be known, and maybe it would be, and I don't know who cares at all about me being cold, but I was freezing cold.
Wow. Yeah.
Are you I'm not. Well, I'm not really. I mean, I get cold, and now with these feet, I wear special type of little socks that keep my feet a little bit warm.
No, I am very hot-natured. Danny's very cold-natured.
Oh, really?
So we divided the house in half. His half is like the tropical rainforest, and I'm the frozen tundra over here. But
well, you like it cold.
Good time to talk about one of our sponsors, Terry Mose. Call Terry Mose for all your AC and heating.
Yeah, no question about it. One of my dear friends, Terry Mose, was the son of the late, great Marshall Boy Mose. And you've known him all your life, haven't you? If you ever had anything to do with ball, you knew the Mose. And, of course, for air conditioning and refrigeration, with air conditioning and heating is the place to go. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We'll stay on here a few more minutes. Okay. I was mentioning to her before we came on the air, things like this have a tendency to just jump out and grab us, and before long we've got legislation that we say, why do we vote on that? And we're allowed to vote on that. But it looks like we're going to have a pretty good group of people that's going to put this out front before it can be a surprise to anybody.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is one of the ones that is pushing this very hard. And again, we already have a lot of regulations and safeguards and stipulations in place to report, large transactions. And so we're kind of, why are they doing this? But it's going to be very detrimental to banks, especially your smaller banks, and it's a huge invasion of privacy to every consumer, everyone that has one of these accounts that's going to be affected.
So really this is, we're running into a political thing here.
This is our call to action. We really need to get in touch with our legislators, our senators, our representatives, and let them know we don't want this.
And it's going to affect, another thing people forget, it's going to affect you Democrats and your Republicans. It's going to, all of America can have a huge effect on it. And I'm so glad you came on today to talk about it. I tell you, you've been involved in so many things, and you've been a positive influence on a lot of people. And
Thank you.
And of course, when is your book coming out?
No.
The Diana Lee story.
No, that would definitely not be a bestseller.
But I tell you what, you came around at a time that people like you and Danny were given a task to do, and you did it.
Yep, we did it. Oh, and one other thing, back to the banking.
Yeah.
That's also going to give the IRS a huge amount of private information, and they're going to be tasked with keeping that safe. And with the amount of security leaks and hacks and that's going on, we've got some real misgivings about whether or not they can keep that information safe. So that even adds a third layer of reasons why we need to contact our legislators and ask them not to vote
Well,
for this.
I tell you what, I hope numerous times before this happens, before we get into what it is, I got you, or what are you talking about? Well, we've been talking about it a long time. When
is Shelby's term in as senator? 2022?
No, I think it's 2022.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, if it was 2022. That's when he is.
Yeah, 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we've got some time with him, so definitely contact him.
We'll have some strong legislation, I hope, that can fight this thing.
So did we ever figure out what the Beach Boys are coming, or the Beach Boys?
Yeah.
Who's coming?
Yeah, we have the Troy Arts Council is presenting Sail On, which is a tribute to the Beach Boys, and they're going to be here Monday, October the 4th at Claudia Crosby at 7 o'clock. And everything that the Arts Council is presenting this year is free of charge. You do not have to have a ticket. Just come on and enjoy.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, what are some of their big songs? GTO is one of them.
Barbara Ann.
Barbara Ann. Wow, 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 wow.
They've got a ton. Of course, I can't remember any of them right now.
What are some of their songs, Dad? I thought you were like one of the biggest Beach Boys.
Well, I mean, but I don't know about. I'm more of a Four Seasons guy than I am a Beach Boy. But they were competitors.
You had a lot of Beach Boys on your jukebox.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah.
Then you definitely need to be there.
I love it. I will be there. I guarantee you. I love it.
You have to wear a mask indoors for an event like that, or how's that work?
Yes,
good question.
We have to go by whatever policy the venue is stating, and they do state that you have to wear a mask in. I believe you can take it off once you're seated, but they are asking that you wear a mask in.
How has that affected the banking business? Nobody has ever. I've gone in there and forgot to wear my mask. And nobody has said anything to me.
Yeah, the weirdest thing I think I've ever done is to make a sign that said, "Please wear a mask coming into the bank." That would.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
What is this?
Yeah.
Usually when somebody wears a mask at a bank, they get tackled.
Yeah. So, because of the mask mandate that we used to have, we were encouraging people to wear masks. We had masks that we could give them if they didn't have one.
That's right, yeah.
We've also put up plexi shields in front of everyone who has face-to-face contact with customers. So masks are preferred when you come into the bank, but we're not going to tackle you and make you leave if you don't have one on. We'll offer you one if you'd like. So.
But none of this. Hey, that masked man just got all our money.
No, we're not. Yeah.
And then everybody turns around. There's a masked man everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
I'm being facetious. Please, just joking.
Let's not do that. No. But yeah,
how does that work as far as y'all's hours on? Are y'all open on Saturday? Are y'all banquet open on Saturday as well?
Yeah, several of our locations have drive-through only on Saturdays from 8:30 till noon. I know that the main office in Troy, as well as the South Branch, which is next to Lowe's, both of them are open from 8:30 till noon on Saturday.
I did not know. And all drive-through only, yeah.
And the one next to Lowe's is open till 6 o'clock every night, drive-through.
That is really, that's a convenience.
That is nice.
I tell you, Troy Bank Trust Company is a very unique bank. I mean, if there's a way to help their customers, they'll do it.
Yep, and even with our app now, you can take a picture of your check and have it go directly into your checking account.
Well, Mike, you know how to do that? You can take a picture.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Mobile deposit.
Oh, man.
Like my mom lives in Mobile, and she banks with us.
Isn't that wonderful? That's right.
And she's like 82.
Yeah.
And she does all this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, I knew that you were from Mobile and that y'all head down that way. And
we can't even get Dad to learn how to text.
Well, maybe so, Mike. Hey, I can do a lot of things, though, you can't do. Oh, man. Diana, thank you for coming by. You're always a pleasure, and please come by and keep reminding us of what we've got to do, because that is really big.
It is very important.
And let me tell you something. If you see a serious-minded banker, you're going to see them in this situation, because we've got to have this strong legislation to block
some voices out there to let them know that this is not something that we're okay with.
It's not American, is it?
Yeah, it really isn't. I don't think so. I think it's an overreach. I think it's an invasion of privacy. I think it's putting too much on the banks. You know, we're not IRS officers.
Yeah,
we're not
right.
IRS agents. We're bankers.
Yes.
And that's what we do. That's what we do well. And it's too much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, as always, my friend.
Thank you.
Anytime you want on this show, you're welcome, I promise you. We'll be back to more of Today in L.A. right after this.
The 11th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30, and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have TruckWorks here.
We just want to recognize TruckWorks for what they do for us. Absolute great partners. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
Wallace Sanders Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
Welcome to ESPN College Football. This is going to be wild. Run it.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Bam. #1 longest lasting truck. Bam. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Okay, Albie, get after him. There go the Crimson Tide of Alabama preparing to meet the Ole Miss Rebels in Tuscaloosa this Saturday afternoon on Troy Cable. And then the Auburn Tigers have got a big showdown with LSU. So it's Auburn in the swamp against LSU, and the Big Al's got to stay at home and fight off those Ole Miss Rebels. Mike, I think that it's a host. I'm gonna take the Crimson Tide at home against Ole Miss, and I'm gonna take Auburn on the road against LSU. What do you think?
One of the biggest games of the state will be Hugh Freeze and Malik Willis as Liberty will travel to Oakland Progressive Stadium in Birmingham for the UAB Blazers.
Now, what's the name of that stadium now again?
Progressive.
Progressive.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how Liberty does against UAB compared to the way they played against Troy. I like the Blazers.
I do too. I like them too. And the big home game, a huge game, first game ever for their brand new stadium. Mike, that's going to enhance the whole city of Birmingham to sort of have all that in one. You know, they got that huge driving range now, and they've got they got a big basketball arena which has been updated, and they can handle almost any event in Birmingham. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it holds 45,000 seats. Actually, can be expanded to as much as 65,000 on down the road if they want to add on to it. Looks great for downtown Birmingham. I'm definitely happy and excited to see. If this makes the program grow even bigger than what it is. Of course, Legion Field was an eyesore.
But it's sad, sort of sad that poor old stadium goes.
Nobody needed to play at Legion Field anymore, so it's good that they built something brand new.
Yeah. Will they tear that down, or will they use it for high schools, or what? Or some colleges?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Miles plays there. Yeah. Maybe some small colleges play there.
Where did Birmingham Southern play their games, Mike? Do you know?
They got their own campus stadium.
Did they really? Have you ever seen it? Is it a pretty nice stadium?
I've never seen it. It's a gated university. So
yeah. A gated university. So it's not just anybody can drive through there, can they? Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this show is brought to you by...
I guess they would let you come in if they knew who you were.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show has been brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, where they've got a tremendous sale of new and used cars and trucks. Their clearance on the used cars and trucks is going crazy now. They've got cars that start off at $29.95, and then they'll throw in that $99 a month. You can't beat this, and of course they got the giant tent sale going on at the same time. But remember this, there are already, I'm looking at 25 cars and trucks that have this $29.95 ticket on it. So you've got at least 20 cars and trucks that you can buy for under $29.95. So look for those great sales, and also that 0% on Ram trucks, those 21 Ram trucks is also out there. So Jeeps, brand new Jeeps and Ram trucks and Chrysler cars and Jeep cars, and just beautiful selection of new and used cars and trucks at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody beats a Ram truck deal at or a Premier deal right here in Troy. Of course,
I was reading an interesting article yesterday. UAB received a $100 million donation, largest gift in the history for UAB Medical School. Dr. Barnett, eye surgeon, entrepreneur, and his family have made the largest gift in the University of Alabama Birmingham's history, according to the University of Alabama System trustees.
Who was it again? Who was it again that made the donation?
Dr. Barnett Hirsink, eye surgeon.
Yeah, that's right. I've got it right here. It says Hirsink gives UAB $95 million.
Apparently they have ties to the Dothan area.
Yeah, exactly, Mike. He's a big eye doctor down there. You ever seen an eye clinic down there?
He's a co-owner and chairman of Eye Center South in Dothan and practices law offices in Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. He has a special interest in training in the diagnosis, surgical treatment of cataracts, as well as laser vision correction. Mary Hirsink serves as UAB School of Medical Board of Visitors and is involved in several global health efforts.
Yeah. Well, that is a tremendous gift. $95 million. Dr. Hirsink is the donor, and of course, he has that tremendous, Mike. A lot of people think it's the strongest eye clinic in the country, right there in Dothan, Alabama. So, congratulations to the University of Alabama, and
the Institute will be housed in Birmingham, but it also will have a presence in Dothan, the Hirsink family's hometown. So they actually live in Dothan, Alabama.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure they live in a castle in Dothan, Alabama. These people are rich.
I've never even heard of this name before in my life.
Oh, I have.
Millions and millions of dollars to give $100 million to UAB Medical.
Mike, I've always, Mike. Now you might not have heard from him, but Dr. Hirsink's a household word in the Dothan area, and he's done wonderful things. Troy Regional Medical Center got a little donation from the Alabama National Guard, and that was a nice little gesture, and also Voltage Academy cut their ribbons, and Kelly Sanders, founder of the new dance studio, and the reason like this, the Pike County Chamber of Commerce hosted a ribbon cutting for Voltage Academy of Dance on Highland, on Highway 231 South on Tuesday morning. The state-of-the-art dance studio was founded by Kelly Sanders of Troy, and Dana Sanders with the the Pike County Chamber of Commerce was also there for the ribbon cutting, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program. It's called Voltage Academy of Dance. Is a faith-founded dance studio with a heart to empower the mind the body and the spirit of young artists through weekly dance training and spiritual mentorship and life-giving atmosphere. And that's what Kelly says they're all about. So it's a wonderful new program going on now in Troy. Also, my buddy Carter Sanders has he's been honored with a show in the waterfront show in Montgomery, and it was one of the top groups out there. And congratulations to Carter Sanders for all that wonderful art. And of course, we've got a lot to talk about in football, and of course Troy.
Yeah.
Mike, they've got a big challenge ahead, and I think there's a chance. I really do. What do you feel? Your feelings?
I mean, we've been about Troy a lot this week, and you know, I mean, I hope these players and kids, you know, will play their hearts out and play for these coaches. You know, I mean, it's one of those type of things. I know we've been critical all week, and you know, we care about the program a lot. We've been invested in the program for a long time as a family, and it's just one of those type of things. You know, we expect more from Troy University football. I don't know if I have much confidence in Troy this weekend, like obviously Vegas and other people do, but we'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. I mean, 2 or 3 turnovers, offense, you know, somehow gets something working, hits a big play, does some kind of trickery, and, you know, you're within, 7 points going into the fourth quarter, anything can happen.
And I think there's a possibility there. You know, we're talking about a lot of people saying, well, what are you talking about, the Las Vegas line? Well, we're talking about, tell us what we're talking about.
7 points in Vegas is a very small line for a home team to have. So basically, if the line was as low as 3, that would almost be considered a pick 'em.
Yeah,
the way
exactly.
that's looked at in Vegas. So it's just a very, very strange line, considering Troy lost to Louisiana Monroe on the road as a 23.5-point favorite. They lost by 13. South Carolina lost to an undefeated Kentucky team at home by 6 points. So you would think that South Carolina would be double digits. I thought it'd maybe be high 16 to 17 a couple of weeks ago, and now it's only 7 points. So that tells you something that Vegas thinks
that Troy's going to play them tough.
Possible upset, yeah.
Of course, you know, South Carolina.
How they came up with that line after the way Troy played against La Monroe, and I guess Vegas had no clue how much Troy really struggled against Southern Miss. Didn't even score points till the second half, and didn't score a touchdown in the second half against Liberty until the last few seconds. So Troy has a very poor offense against Division I program so far this season. You know, you can't look at what they did against Southern. And, you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think after this weekend, if Troy gets beat by 3 touchdowns at Vegas, we'll kind of catch on to what's going on.
And, you know, that's going to be a good ball game. And I've got tickets for that game. It looks like I'm going to not find anybody that needs one, but I've got 2 tickets.
I mean, I'm surprised that nobody out there is not at least going to the game, somebody local. I mean, there's some people that still go to every game. It seems like you might give those to somebody that you can get rid of them.
Well, I'll tell you this, it's not that terribly long a trip. You go to Atlanta.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a long drive right there. I've made that before.
Well, I know a lot of people I know some people that are planning on driving over there and coming back.
Ed Orgeron expects Auburn's starting quarterback to be TJ Finley, but they're also going to prepare for Bo Nix. Huge game in Baton Rouge on Sunday night. Of course, Max Howell's come on the show numerous times and said Orgeron is coaching for his job every game due to a lot of off-the-field issues, a lot of internal issues with the Board of Trustees and the athletic department at LSU. Auburn, of course, has gotten a lot of public attention this week. They fired Cornelius Williams, a friend of ours and a friend to everybody at Troy University, from their staff. And, they bring in a guy who used to be the offense coordinator at Washington, used to be offense coordinator at Fresno State, used to be on the staff at Boise State as offense coordinator as well. Why in the world was this guy never a part of the original staff in the first place? It's what makes no sense to me.
Well, listen, all right, we're fixing.
I mean, this guy's credentials are through the roof.
I was going to start off in the East, some of these games that we're taking a look at today, and it's going to be a great weekend of college football if you just want to sit back and relax. And, every now and then, you hear tickets for for different games and so forth. But I hadn't heard anybody anywhere even mentioning a ticket to the Alabama-Mississippi game. This must be a hard sellout, Mike.
Yeah, my mother-in-law called me yesterday, and she's got tickets to the game on the 40-yard line and a parking pass.
Is she going?
Yeah, so she's going.
Is she going? How many tickets does she have? 2 or 1?
She's got, it's her and 2 other ladies, so it's just 3 ladies going.
Boy, that's nice. They're going to have fun. Okay.
South Alabama, undefeated South Alabama football notes will white it out versus Louisiana Lafayette, which will include uniforms as well. So South Alabama's probably got their biggest game maybe ever at home against Louisiana Lafayette this weekend. We ain't talked about that game.
Yeah, that's right. We sure haven't. And it'll be one of them we pick, though, I promise you. And they've got a shot at them, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely have a shot. It's one of those things where, you bring in a new coach, a guy that had, done an unbelievable job at turning Indiana was not a great football program, into a great defensive team. His background was, he graduated from Southern Miss, but he had originally coached with Joey Jones on that staff years ago. And I tell you what, man, it makes you realize that Steve Campbell and his coaching staff left a few good players.
I would think so.
I know they brought in 18 transfers, though, from Division I programs. And usually it takes a while for these guys to gel. I will say their schedule has been extremely weak. They beat a really poor Southern Miss team. They beat a 1AA SWAC Alcorn State team. I'm trying to think about who their other win was against. Oh, they went on the road and actually beat Bowling Green, and Bowling Green turned around and beat Minnesota last week.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, that's right.
As a 31-point underdog.
A 31-point underdog. That might be a record almost, Mike. That is unusual. That's really something.
So that Bowling Green win looks pretty good now all of a sudden. But, we've always said that South Alabama is a sleeper program, that one of these days is going to go in there and get it right. And then after that, they could dominate.
Okay, here we go. I got to put you on hold a second. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Will. Let me bring Mike back in here.
All right.
Rice knew how to do this better than I do. Okay, I got both of you. Is that right? Hello, Mike.
Yeah, you got. Yeah,
all right, we're in great shape. Okay, Will Matthews coming in here with his picks of the week, brought to you by the Matthews. Of course, the law firm in downtown Ozark, one of my good places and good friends. Will, good morning.
Michael, write these down like you did last week, then text them to me, okay?
All right, okay. Mike?
All right.
All right, Will Matthews, and of course, this is his picks of the week. Against the line. Now, this is against the line. Go ahead.
My first bet is the over in the Alabama-Ole Miss game. The over-under is 79.5.
Boy, that is that's one of the longest, one of the highest I've ever seen. Go ahead.
One of them, yeah, but I think it'll go over that. The next one, I don't know if Alabama covers that line or not. It's over 2 touchdowns. And, they could cover it. I'm not too confident about it.
All right, what is the line now?
14.5.
And what are you going to do then?
I'm not even touching that.
Well, what you do, you give them the you go ahead and you axe through the half point, then you can get it at 14. Then.
Yeah, I'm laying off that game. I think Alabama's gonna have trouble though.
Okay. Next.
Well, aren't you going to be in Mississippi watching all this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Over under for Alabama, Ole Miss 79.5 now.
Yes.
Is it a half? 79.5.
You know what? Well, it's actually going up 80.
Well,
Wow.
Have y'all ever heard of a line this high?
I've only seen one line over.
I've never seen over 8. I've never seen 80.
I haven't either.
I have one time, Michael. Memphis was playing SMU 2 or 3 years ago, and they both scored 50-something points.
I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you something right now. I would jump all over the 79.5. I would take it under, because these two teams supposed to have a halfway decent defense. So I think defense is, I could see it under 60-something points, but I can't see it under 79 points.
You got to realize Alabama scored 63 last year, 63-48.
Yeah, but these defenses are supposed to be better. You act like Alabama can't stop anybody.
I'll tell you this: Southern Miss scored 2 touchdowns against Alabama's defense last week. Troy only gave up 3 points to Southern Miss.
Yeah, you're right. All right, now any other scores, Will?
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go down the line.
All right.
The next, Georgia is favored 18.5 over Arkansas.
Whoa, man! Man!
You know, it's just they're begging you to bet on Arkansas. Begging. Guess what? I'm going with Georgia, and I think it's going to be a blowout, and maybe 35-10, something like that.
35 to 10. But now, what is the
18.5?
18.5.
So I like them to cover.
All right, Georgia plus the minus 18.5. Okay.
All right, now Michigan is at Wisconsin.
Yep.
Michigan's ranked number 14 in the country. Wisconsin is unranked. Yet Wisconsin's favored by 2 points.
Isn't that crazy?
So you think it's crazy? Well, guess what? Go with Wisconsin.
You know what? I'm about ready to go to Michigan. So you're gonna go to Wisconsin? -2, Wisconsin. Isn't that unreal?
All right, Louisville is at Wake Forest, and Wake Forest is favored over Louisville by 7 points.
Okay.
I think the wrong team's favored. I think Louisville beat Wake Forest straight up.
Boy, I watched Wake Forest the other day on TV, and they were awfully impressive.
I like Louisville.
All right, okay, Louisville. Okay, Louisville and
Cincinnati's at Notre Dame. Cincinnati's giving up 2 points.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Cincinnati will blow Notre Dame out.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
At Notre Dame.
And
At Notre Dame.
And I do tell you something. I think
Cincinnati's going to be in the playoffs.
Well, let's say this.
What was the Louisville line?
The what now?
The Louisville line.
The Louisville line you like?
7. Louisville's getting 7.
All right, Louisville's getting 7. And let me tell you this.
And didn't you like Cincinnati?
Cincinnati -2.
-2, okay.
And you're saying they're going to actually beat Notre Dame. And Notre Dame.
Yeah, they'll beat them. They'll beat them, yes.
Notre Dame's had a pretty good turnaround lately.
Yeah, Notre Dame's undefeated and just blew out Wisconsin.
Yeah, Cincinnati's undefeated too. Both of them are undefeated. One of them's going to lose Saturday.
Oh, that's going to be a heck of a game. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Oregon is 8 at Stanford.
Yeah.
I think they blow Stanford out. I like Oregon in that game.
Oregon.
You actually got it. You actually got it at 7.5 now.
Okay, I like Oregon.
What is his line though? What is he gonna get this at?
Well, he'll get it at 7.5. That's better than 8.
All right, but has he got it? What is it then? 7.5 or 8?
It's 7.5 right now.
All right, okay, go ahead. That's good.
All right, now I got Texas A&M -7 against Mississippi State. I think they'll beat Mississippi State by more than 7.
Oh, I don't know. They don't have a quarterback. A&M can't find a quarterback.
Well, the quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
All right. What's that line? The A&M line? 7.5.
A&M favored by 7. I like A&M minus 7.
Okay, I got you.
All right, now this is my best one of the week. Auburn getting 3.5 to LSU. Auburn's gonna go down there and beat LSU.
I
got a feeling about that one too. I kind of like Auburn.
All right, is Auburn getting 3.5? Is that right?
Yeah, Auburn's getting 3.5. The last game I've got is UCLA playing Arizona State in Los Angeles. I like UCLA minus 3 against Arizona State.
Okay. And of course, they've got a pretty good program.
You actually got Auburn now at +4, so you got Auburn +4.
You got them at +4? Gosh.
I like Auburn.
All right, UCLA is at what? What is that?
UCLA is minus 3.
All right, minus 3.
So you like UCLA to cover against Arizona State?
Yeah, both teams are 3-1, but I think UCLA's got a better team.
Okay, this is what Will likes, ladies and gentlemen. Get your pen and pencil ready. He's a guru of all gurus. He likes the game over. How in the world can anybody pick this game over? He's got them over 79.5. Okay. Now you've got Georgia. He's going to give the 18.5 with Georgia over Arkansas. To me, this I think he's got the wrong team favored. All right, Wisconsin. He likes Wisconsin to win the football game, and
I tell you what, Wisconsin needs to win a football game. They've already lost too.
I know, you're right, and their quarterback's not playing very well. Michigan's playing real well. I believe Michigan. I think you got the wrong team favored, Will. But I'm no guru, I tell you that. Louisville, he likes. It's a plus. They get 7 points, don't they? Louisville gets 7 points, don't they?
Yes.
Okay, he likes Louisville with 7 points over, what's that?
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, and Wake Forest is undefeated. And I saw them on TV the other day. They're a real good-looking team. Okay. All right, Cincinnati. This is one that a lot of people cannot, probably understand as much as they've got. You've got actually Cincinnati straight up -2.
-2.
And that's against against.
It's got Oregon, the Ducks -7.5. He's got Texas A&M -7 against Mississippi State. He's got Auburn +4 against LSU, and UCLA -3 against Stanford.
That sounds good. Now
well, you're missing the 2 easiest games on the board. UAB -2, opening the new stadium in Birmingham against Liberty.
I like that. I like UAB in that game.
I like UAB. That's my lock of the week. And then my other lock of the week is South Carolina -7 against Troy.
Oh.
6.5, Michael, I'm looking at my line at 6.5. Drop.
Well, you can get the half. You can get the half point easy either way.
Yeah.
But
those
are the 2 biggest games I see out there.
Well, let me tell you something. Y'all, I don't know why. I saw them play now, and they're a good football team, Cincinnati, but they're not going to beat Notre Dame at home. They're just not going to beat Notre Dame at home. You got the wrong team picked there.
Well, you just wait and see.
All right. Okay.
You go with Notre Dame, you'll be sleeping in the street.
Okay, but you know, Notre Dame's playing their best football too. They're playing real good football right now. That's the only one that I really can't understand. And then Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M's in trouble. But I don't know if Mississippi State can win that game, though.
They got 110,000 people out there. That's like.
All right, now the 2 worst teams.
I like Kentucky to cover the +8 against Florida too.
I do too. I like that.
What? Wait a minute. +8 against Florida?
Yeah.
At home, I like Kentucky to play Florida.
Oh, they're not going to play Florida tough.
they might beat them straight up.
All right, I just can't see it, but I can't see a lot of stuff.
I tell you what, I wish I was at a casino sports book this weekend. That'd be a lot of fun.
I tell you what, there's some great games out there, and we'll just hang on because I want to discuss.
Well, do you give your Vanderbilt Commodores any chance to cover the 14.5 against the worst team in college football, UConn?
The two worst teams.
I think they'll beat UConn by 40.
Oh no, Vanderbilt's not going to beat anybody by 40.
There's 130 teams that play football.
And they're
UConn is ranked number 130. The last. Worst team in college football.
Well, do you know Vanderbilt's not far back?
We're talking about the undefeated South Alabama hosting Louisiana Lafayette. This tells you that nobody respects South Alabama's schedule so far. Lafayette at South Alabama playing in Mobile. That line started at 9.5. Lafayette's gone all the way up to 13. So that means everybody's jumping on Lafayette.
Yeah. Do they feel like that South Alabama just hadn't played anybody or what?
Right. Yeah, that's what that line tells you right there.
All right, let's take a look at some of these games. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we look at these lines and we're trying to give it to you as straight as we can get it. Now, again,
another interesting game here is you would think that Oregon State would be a huge favorite at home. They're playing Washington, who really struggled to start the season. Washington's 2-2. Oregon State's 3-1, just beat USC at USC. That line is really strange. Only a 2.5 point favorite at home to beat Washington. Originally, the line was plus 2.5 Oregon State. Now it's gone to minus 2.5. So Vegas now is starting to jump on Oregon State. But originally when this came out, they were the underdog.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think Washington's going to probably beat them, Mike. What do you think?
Another game I'd be interested in is Northwestern 2-2 against Nebraska 2-3. Nebraska's had so many heartbreaking losses this year. They're a 12-point favorite at home against Northwestern. I don't know if Nebraska beats anybody by 12 points.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, another good game this week is Missouri playing at, Tennessee playing at Missouri. What do you think there? I got to say Missouri is playing better ball than Tennessee, wouldn't you say?
I say Tennessee with you.
All right, okay.
Missouri had a heartbreaking loss on the road against Boston College. They kicked a 56-yard field goal to go to overtime. End up getting beaten overtime. You know, I think Missouri wins that game at home.
Yeah. Let me tell you about a team that they say has turned the corner, and they say he's got the best football player in America. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? The Texas Longhorns. Take Texas at TCU. Texas is a 5.5 point favorite on the road at TCU. Texas got a running back. Listen now. They say Texas got a running back that they say ought to go ahead and quit now and start counting his money. Are y'all familiar with him?
Yeah, I've seen him play.
Mike, they say he's the best football player in America at the University of Texas, a running back.
Yeah, this game will be on early. It'll be on at 11 o'clock.
Texas blew out Texas Tech, and a lot of people thought Texas Tech would play them straight up. But Texas, watch them close.
TCU just got beat at home by SMU. SMU's undefeated.
All right, well, they're playing at TCU, and of course they play hard, but Texas, it will be way too strong for TCU. I'm going to go ahead and put a big Texas to take Texas in a big way. So there's your lock of the whole season right there, Texas.
Well, have you watched Georgia Tech any this year? How's Georgia Tech gotten better?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll tell you another.
They barely get beat by Clemson. They started the season and got beat by Northern Illinois, of all teams, but now they're playing really good football.
Yeah, I don't know, Michael. I really don't.
Let me tell you this. Wake Forest.
Okay, look, you're talking about a program that's been down for years. Georgia Tech has been down for years.
Well, I'll tell you right now that Wake Forest has a real good football team. A real good football team.
We've been talking about this for years. I mean, Dave Clawson was at Bowling Green. Troy played a home and home with Bowling Green. Troy barely beat them in Troy. And then they went on the road and actually made the trip with some friends of mine from Troy, John Reeves and Bill Grice. I'll never forget. I flew up and drove back with John Reeves all the way from Detroit. You know, he did a great job there. He's done a good job at Wake. He's a guy, to me, should get a big job.
Oh, yeah, they talk about it. Boy, what a great job he's done coaching, no question about it. Now, another thing
I will say we got good news yesterday. Terry Bowden, I was listening to Rick Newhouse's show yesterday on Sirius, and they mentioned Terry Bowden and Rich Rodriguez in a big win over Troy, and, you know, we're congratulating them, and they said that Rich Rodriguez's son is out of the hospital and is back home with his family and is doing better, so he's off the ventilator. And you know, they say, which is crazy, Dad, when you hear this, they say he suffered this horrible lung injury, collapsed lung injury, on the first play of the game.
Oh, man.
That's what Rodriguez is saying. But on the first play of the game, the guy ends up throwing a touchdown pass.
I know it.
I think later on in that drive, and then does a few other good things. How in the world could you even play if you had a collapsed lung?
I know it, and he played very well, no question about it. Well, you know, another game here now, it tickles me. Now, Georgia Tech has surprised a lot of people, and they play at home. Now, Pittsburgh has got a pretty good football team. They scored 70-something points last game, I think.
Yeah, but, you know, they lost at home to Western Michigan, so they kind of got humbled a couple weeks ago, and then they tried to blow somebody out by 77.
But Georgia Tech, and of course, Georgia Tech is a I'm trying to figure out how many points they're getting.
I mean, Georgia Tech was decent back in the Gailey days. I mean, Gailey had some decent teams. I think he won 9 games a couple of times. And, you know, Paul Johnson had some really good teams at Georgia Tech. But other than that, they've been down for years.
Well, but they're not. Evidently, they're playing real good right now, and they are a.
I would say they've had 5 straight losing seasons.
Yeah. Well, they're playing real good now, but Pittsburgh is coming to town, and Pittsburgh's supposed to be a good team. That might be one you stay away from. Now, one thing, Will, that is hard for me to say it's hard for me to say that Cincinnati will beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm going with Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame will win that game. Now, a lot of people think, you know, of course, I'm not saying that Cincinnati is a poor football team. I'm just saying they won't beat Notre Dame at home. I just can't see it. So that's I'm going to go with you as well. I'm going to say I like Notre Dame in that game. Here's one right here that everybody's looking at.
Notre Dame was good to me last week when I picked them over Wisconsin.
Yeah. Mike, Florida State, bless their hearts. They've got they play Syracuse at home. Florida State does. They ought to beat Syracuse, Mike. Tell me about why people are still. Well, there's 4.5-point favorite against a team that you don't really know that can win that game.
Syracuse looked pretty good in the Dome to me against Liberty, and they had a couple extra days to prepare to Florida State. I mean, I don't know how they could I don't know how they could favor Florida State since they're 0-4 against anybody that's 3-1, but they did.
I agree with you. Georgia Southern, Mike.
The thing with Florida State is when I watched them against Notre Dame, you know, they looked like they had a pretty physical offensive line. They were running the ball up and down the field on Notre Dame that night, and had 2 really good running backs. And I was kind of shocked that I don't know if they've had running backs get hurt, but I kind of thought that was going to be their game. You know, the Travis kid, when they had him at quarterback, he's real athletic. He can run. You know, they put Milton in there. You know, you're kind of scared to death he's going to get hit. So I'll be interested to see who they start at quarterback.
Yeah. You know, let me answer this. And I was looking at, do they have the wrong team favored? Georgia Southern is a 1.5 point favorite over Arkansas State. Is Arkansas State on hard times? I would think normally Arkansas State would beat Georgia Southern. Wouldn't you think?
Well, you know, Butch Jones had a great game earlier. I mean, they got beat by a really good Memphis team, like 55-50, and you know, Hatcher, I thought, was the starting quarterback, the Alabama transfer. That put up great numbers in his first start ever against Troy. I think he threw for almost 500 yards. But I saw last game that the Florida State transfer, James Blackman, was the quarterback, and he threw for 350 yards. So I don't know if they know who their quarterback is.
I would almost go with Georgia State here. I mean, Arkansas, Georgia Southern's got some problems, you know, going on. And
well, I mean, you got problems. Your coach just got fired after taking you to 3 straight bowl games. Your quarterback leaves the program after being a 3 or 4 year starter, wants to go play wide receiver at Louisville. You got an offensive lineman jumping on top of the school bus before the game in his jersey, drinking a beer. I mean, sounds like they got some issues.
Yeah. Boy, here's a great one, Mike. Here's a great one here.
I'll say this, though. Butch Jones, I know everybody used to laugh at him when he was at Tennessee, but he won big at Central Michigan and he won big at Cincinnati. So he's a guy that's a pretty good coach. And he won 9 games at Tennessee one year.
Yeah.
So he's a lot better than I think people think he is.
I'm going to give you a lock that people are going to say, what did you say? What did you say? Rice is a 2.5 point favorite over Southern Miss. Southern Miss is not going to let Rice beat them like that. I'm gonna take the new coach at Southern Miss, and I'm going to take them to win the game. They're going to win the game over Rice.
Speaking of Rice, where is Rice this morning?
Rice is low. Oh, Bill Rice. He had some sick kids this morning. Go get to sleep in. But we're having fun with some of these scores here.
Rice is 2.5 point favorite. They're hosting Southern Miss. I don't know. I don't know if Southern Miss can go on the road and beat them.
Well, let me tell you something. You know how high we are on this on the new coach at Southern Miss. I think this is where he really makes a statement here. He'll win this game, I think. And
I don't know much about Rice this year. They're 1-3. Southern Miss is 1-3.
And another thing, I think, like you said, Mike, your pick of the week might be right here with UAB beating Liberty in their new stadium. They might even beat them pretty bad. I think that's a big deal there.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. You know, UAB just totally didn't show up against Georgia. I mean, everybody was just like, oh, man, they don't play Georgia tough. They get beat 56-3. But then after that, you know, they go on the road. They blow out North Texas. Then they beat up what a lot of people thought was a really good Tulane team at Tulane in their stadium. I mean, I feel like UAB's got a really good ball club. I feel like they'll match up physically and athletically, you know, really good against Liberty.
Yeah.
I think they'll beat Liberty.
All right, well, yeah, exactly. I do too. I think that might be the best bet on the board, or one of them. I would like to also mention another game of interest. We talked about Florida and Kentucky. Florida's a much better football team than Kentucky, I think. So.
Yeah, but it's a lot different when you go on the road. I mean, Kentucky's Stoops has been there for several years. He's a defensive-minded coach. They got a quarterback that transferred in from Penn State, Will Levis, that can really throw the ball. I mean, Kentucky is a lot more physical of a team than people think. They got 2 really good running backs. I just feel like Emory Jones has improved, but he's done all this at home. And you get him on the road, you get in that environment, a really good defense coach in Stoops. I see this being a close one.
Okay, that's a good prognostication.
I mean, I don't think people realize that. You know, he's really built the program at Kentucky. You know, he's a good coach.
Now let me tell you this: another one that jumps out at us. You know, Clemson can't find an offense. They right now they're 16.5 point favorite over Boston College. Boston College is going to play them tough. They played everybody else tough, so That might be one to look at right there.
I mean, Boston College is undefeated.
Yeah, that's right. And
Boston College lost their great quarterback. They've had to go to their backup. They've found a way to beat Missouri. But Clemson, I don't know if a lot of people realize this. Boston College, Trevor Lawrence had COVID last year and he was out. He couldn't play in this game. And Boston College went to Clemson, were up by as many as, I think, 17 points at one time during the game. And Clemson and DJ Ungmaloma, whatever his last name is, brought them back to beat Boston College. So this is a interesting game here to play the lose.
Yeah. Well, those are just some of the games that I thought just sort of stood out at us. And this is by far the most competitive.
But best week of the year.
Yeah, the most competitive group of teams of the year. You know, everybody likes to know who Coach Brown, former Troy coach at West Virginia, is a 7.5-point favorite over Texas Tech. Texas Tech was just purely embarrassed on the road at Texas last week, and I see no reason. I don't know. Does West Virginia have any kind of firepower to beat Texas Tech?
Well, that's the problem. I think Neil will look back at his West Virginia career, and he made a huge mistake with this Daggy guy who was actually a transfer in from Texas Tech. You know, he just can't win a big game for Neil. You know, they've had two losses against great quarterbacks. Tallulah Tagovailoa beat them by, I think, 5 at Maryland, and that game was at Maryland. Then they go on the road to Oklahoma. I mean, all they got to do is run the ball 2 more times. They're going to probably kick about a 45-yard field goal and have a chance to be up by 3 with about 2 minutes left. Instead, the center, we know he's coached by a great offensive line coach in Matt Moore, snaps it over Dagy's head. It goes back about 25 yards. Then they face like a 2nd and 35 and like a 3rd and 20. And next thing you know, they have to punt. Oklahoma takes the ball down. No time left, kicks a chip shot field goal, wins the game by 3.
Yeah.
So,
Mike, quickly before
they've got a great defense coached by Jordan Leslie. Remember that name?
Yeah.
Jordan Leslie is their defense coordinator.
Coach at Troy.
So, coach and played at Troy. So, you know, Neil's got to give him a quarterback.
I know it. So you wouldn't gamble with that one, would you?
Well, you know, you don't know how much these guys are going to have that Oklahoma loss.
All right. Give us your. We're going to do it tomorrow on our picks of the week, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks. Our show starts right at 7 o'clock tomorrow, so have your pens and pencils handy.
You got a game tonight too. Everybody's disappointed in Miami. They'll host Virginia tonight. Miami's a slight favorite actually at home against Virginia.
Then they got Iowa, just a 3.5-point favorite over Maryland. Can Maryland beat big undefeated Iowa, Mike?
Well, that's a Friday night game. We can talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You got on ESPN, Virginia at Miami, 2-2. Miami 2-2. Virginia. You also got a pro game tonight as well. So you got 2 football games you can watch tonight. You got the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, who have not won a game on the road, playing the Bengals, who are 2-1. So you got Trevor Lawrence against Joe Burrow tonight.
Oh boy. Well, Burrow's been playing pretty well too.
Bengals are 7.5. That line went from 4.5 to 7.5.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped on the Bengals.
Well, I want to mention also do you give Virginia much chance to go to Miami and win? What do you think?
I don't know. You know, Virginia played North Carolina a week ago, and they got beat 59-39. So I don't know if they have much of a defense.
Yeah, I know that. That's one of them to look at. Also on Friday night, you've got Maryland against West Virginia. Against Iowa, and Iowa is undefeated, and just having to give 3.5 points.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that game. You know, I got to watch Tallulah a little bit when he was at Alabama.
Yeah.
And we watched him in high school when Thompson played Mountain Brook. So we go pretty far back with that kid.
Yeah, that's right. And that's going to be a good game. Of course, we'll be talking to you more about these games coming up this week, tomorrow on our show. And, of course, we appreciate you watching our show today. Brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks on the Bypass. And of course, glad to have our guest this week, Diana Lee. And,
Diana Lee.
Of course, appreciate her. And of course, Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. See you tomorrow, bright and early, today in LA.